All right, let's dive in. We're tackling Arrival today. You know, that sci-fi flick from back in 2016.
Arrival seems straightforward enough, right? Aliens show up.
Exactly. But this Chinese language video essay we dug up, well, it's like it found a hidden layer in the film, a whole other dimension almost.
It's less about the aliens themselves and more about us, how we as humans react when everything goes topsy-turvy. The satire is what really shines through here.
So picture this, 12 of these alien ships just pop up all over the globe,
Like giant, well, they look like something out of a fruit basket, honestly.
and the world completely loses its cool. The essay really captures that, the absurdity of it all, like a global meltdown in Fast Forward.
You've got some leaders ready to nuke anything that moves, while others are all about peace offerings and hoping for some sweet alien tech.
It's classic us, isn't it? Jumping to conclusions. Fear as a first language.
The essay frames it as this cautionary tale about human nature. Not exactly flattering, but hey, gotta face the facts sometimes.
But let's talk aliens. The heptapods, as they're called. Even their design, the essay argues, is part of the satirical layer.
Seven-fingered limbs. It makes you wonder, right? Do they even do math like we do? What if they're rocking a base 7 system? Throws our whole perception out the window.
Imagine explaining fractions to them. Or calculus.
Mind blown.
It's like that idea of a flat 2D creature trying to grasp the third dimension.
Exactly. We're so stuck in our ways of seeing things, we can barely comprehend anything truly different.
And that leads us right into the communication puzzle. The essay makes a big deal out of how Arrival flicks the script on alien language.
No grand speeches, no universal translator gizmos. These heptapods, they communicate visually, all these intricate symbols like massive inkblot tests.
And it takes Louise Banks, our linguist hero, to figure that out. We have to shift our whole approach, learn to see their language instead of just hearing it.
Again, it's that human-centric bias, isn't it? Assuming everyone's got to be like us.
Except our way is the only way.
Right. But the more we learn, the more confused we get about their motives.
More knowledge, more fear. It's almost like a bad joke.
The essay really pushes that idea, that it's a deliberate commentary on how we handle the unknown. Panic first, ask questions later.
Classic human move. But buckle up, because here's where things get wild. The essay dives into the whole reason the heptapods are here. They brought a gift. And this gift, well, let's just say it's not what you'd expect.
Not technology, not weapons, it's their language itself. But learning it, it fundamentally changes how we perceive time. Suddenly, the future isn't so mysterious anymore.
Whoa, wait. Are we talking like seeing the future for real, knowing what's going to happen?
That's the kicker. And that's where the satire goes from playful to, well, kind of profound. They offers knowledge, sure, but it comes with a hefty price tag. Makes you question everything you thought you knew about free will, destiny, the whole shebang.
Is this a Pandora's box situation then?
You could say that. Here's the ultimate cheat code, humans, but don't come crying to us when you don't like the ending. That kind of vibe.
Makes you wonder, what would you even do with that knowledge? Could you change anything? Or are we all just on autopilot following a script we can't even see?
And that, my friend, is the paradox at the core of Arrival. It's not just about aliens. It's about the very nature of time, reality. Heavy stuff.
We've got alien spaceships, time-bending languages, and existential dilemmas galore. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to need a breather. We'll be right back to unravel more of Arrival's satirical depths after a short break.
So, about knowing the future, the essay points out that Arrival doesn't just throw that concept around, it really explores what that means for a person, for Louise Banks especially.
Right, like emotionally. You can't just casually drop future seeing on someone.
Exactly. As Louise learns the heptapods language, the way she experiences time starts to, well, warp.
It's like those dreams she has, they become super vivid. But they're not just dreams, are they?
More like glimpses into her own life down the road. And not vague stuff either. Specific events, including, well, her daughter's death.
Talk about a gut punch. The essay frames this as the film's most personal and maybe most painful bit of satire.
It's one thing for humanity to freak out about the unknown, but this is Louise facing her own future, knowing the heartache that's coming.
It's like, hey, congrats on the time-bending skills. Here's a preview of your worst nightmare. But here's the thing that gets me knowing all that. She still chooses to have her daughter.
Right. The essay really digs into that. It's the central paradox. If Louise sees the future, does she even have a choice?
Or is it all just inevitable? Every decision, every joy, every tragedy already written.
Are we all just puppets dancing to a tune we can't even hear?
That's grim, man. But the essay suggests Arrival isn't about giving up. It's using this paradox to mess with how we understand time.
Like, what if it's not a straight line from birth to death? What if it's circular, past, present, future, all mashed up together?
Well, okay, hold up. So not a straight line, more like
A tangled ball of yarn, maybe? Everything influencing everything else all the time.
I'm trying to picture that. But how does that change things for Louise? Knowing what happens to her daughter, but time being all loopy.
This is where Arrival gets really clever. It's not saying accept your sad fate. It's more like, what if our idea of tragedy, of sorrow itself, is based on this limited view of time?
Okay, so if we can see the whole ball of yarn, the happy and the sad parts all at once.
Maybe the pain of knowing wouldn't hit so hard. Maybe we'd see the whole picture, not just the dark bits.
Like the universe goes from this scary, predetermined thing to something almost beautiful.
Arrival doesn't give us easy answers, but it does make you question whether our fear of the future is really just a fear of letting go of control, of this illusion we have.
Deep stuff. But the essay connects this circular time thing to memory, too. Like, they're linked somehow.
It makes this wild suggestion. What if without memory, the concept of time wouldn't exist? If we couldn't remember, would we even know time was passing?
But it goes even further. What if those future glimpses Louise gets? What if those aren't premonitions, but memories? Memories from a point in her timeline that's ahead of her current now.
Trippy, right? The future's already there. It's just a matter of accessing those memories.
That's a lot to process.
Yeah.
But it fits with the whole satirical vibe of the film. Arrival is playing with us, making us question everything. Time, memory, reality itself.
Exactly. Like it's saying, hey, humans, you think you're so smart with your calendars and your clocks, but what if it's all much more fluid than that?
I'm starting to feel like time is this giant cosmic joke, and we're the punchline.
But hey, at least it's an interesting punchline, and that's what makes Arrival so good. It doesn't just entertain, it throws these big, thought-provoking ideas at you and lets you wrestle with them.
I'm ready for more wrestling. What else did this essay uncover? Okay, so we've seen how Arrival uses these huge ideas about time and memory to, like, poke at our understanding of reality. But the essay also points out how it gets satirical on a smaller scale, too, especially with how people act.
It really nails the whole media circus thing, how they shape what we think, especially during a crisis.
Oh, yeah. It's like they can't resist a good panic fest. Facts are optional.
Sensationalism sells, right. Arrival captures that perfectly. Aliens show up, and suddenly every news outlet's lost their minds.
It's nonstop speculation, doomsday predictions, the works. And of course, all the so-called experts contradicting each other just adds fuel to the fire.
The essay highlights these scenes where the news anchors are practically drooling, talking about alien invasions and the end of the world.
I mean, who needs credible sources when you can have a good freakout? But the essay suggests there's more to it than just making fun of the media.
It's highlighting our need for easy answers, our obsession with fitting everything into neat little categories, even when that's impossible.
We hate ambiguity, don't we?
Yeah.
We want a clear story, even if it's completely made up.
And Arrival is like, nope, not this time. Get comfortable with the unknown.
It's a good lesson, honestly, especially in a world that seems obsessed with having all the answers. But the essay also talks about how Arrival takes aim at this idea of human exceptionalism.
You know, we're the most advanced, most intelligent beings out there.
The food chain, the universe revolves around us, that whole deal.
And then come the Heptapods. They're like the ultimate other. Everything about them, their looks, their way of thinking, it's so different from us.
And that makes us confront just how limited we are.
Exactly. It's a brilliant way to use satire. The Heptapods might not build spaceships or write symphonies like we do, but their understanding of the universe, it blows ours out of the water.
And Arrival doesn't hold back on showing how arrogant we can be.
Especially when something challenges our worldview.
Some characters are instantly hostile, assuming the worst about the heptapods just because they're different.
Classic fear of the unknown.
And the film is like, see, this is what you look like. This is your bias on full display. But it's not all doom and gloom. The essay points out that Arrival also offers a way forward. Louise Banks, by choosing to learn the heptapods' language, shows what's possible when we embrace the unknown.
When we choose empathy over fear.
It's like the film is saying, yeah, humans can be a mess, but we can also be better. We can connect, even with those who seem totally alien to us.
And that, I think, is the heart of the film's message. It's a call for a more humble, compassionate way of dealing with what we don't understand.
To recognize that the universe is way bigger, way more complex than we can wrap our heads around. So after diving into Arrival with this essay as our guide, what's the big takeaway? Should we all be learning alien languages just in case a giant spaceship-shaped fruit basket pops up in our backyard?
Well, maybe not literally, but I think the film is encouraging us to be aware of our biases, open to new ways of seeing things.
To remember that even when faced with the totally unknown, our ability to connect with others might be our greatest strength. And that's a pretty powerful message, especially these days.
It is. Arrival reminds us that the universe, and our place in it, might be far more wondrous and interconnected than we can even imagine.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into Arrival. Hope you enjoyed the journey, and we'll see you next time for another exploration of the fascinating, the thought-provoking, and the downright mind-bending. Until then, stay curious.